Sunday evening. You have been putting off thinking about the week ahead because every time you try to think about it, your brain just produces a wall of noise. Everything feels urgent, nothing feels manageable. And the idea of sitting down to actually plan feels somehow harder than just winging it and hoping for the best. If that is your relationship with weekly planning right now, I want to show you a different way. I am a doctor of physical therapy student with ADHD, and I used to spend Sunday nights either avoiding planning entirely or making these massive, elaborate to-do lists that I would look at Monday morning and feel immediately overwhelmed by. Neither approach worked. What finally worked was building a system that my brain could actually use. Not a perfect system, not a complicated system, just a simple, repeating structure that takes about 20 minutes and keeps me from drowning every single week. Today, I am going to walk you through exactly what that looks like. The system is called the Sunday Reset and it has 5 steps. I do this every single week without exception because it is the one anchor that keeps everything else from falling apart. The whole thing takes about 20 minutes. That is it. You are not planning your entire life. You are just giving your brain enough external structure to start the week from a place of clarity instead of chaos. Let me walk you through each step. Step 1 is the brain dump. Before you can organize anything you need to get it out of your head, everything that is living in your brain right now goes on the page. Assignments, clinical tasks, emails you have been avoiding, things you need to buy, conversations you need to have, random obligations you said yes to 3 weeks ago, all of it. The rule is simple. If it is in your head, it goes on the page. Your brain is not a storage system. It was never designed to hold all of this. The moment you get it out of your head and onto paper, your cognitive load drops immediately, and you can actually start to think clearly. For ADHD brains specifically, this step is everything. We carry an enormous amount of mental clutter that sits in the background, consuming bandwidth we do not even realize we are spending. The brain dump clears that out. Step 2 is categorizing everything you just dumped. You sort each item into one of 4 buckets: academic, clinical, personal, or financial. You are not doing anything with these yet. You are just giving your brain a map instead of a pile. Organization before prioritization. Step 3 is choosing your 3 priorities for the week. Just 3. Not 10, not 7. 3 things that absolutely must happen this week, no matter what. These are your non-negotiables. Everything else is secondary. This step is the most important one and also the one most people skip because it feels too simple. But ADHD brains struggle with priority filtering, which means without this step, everything feels equally urgent and you end up paralyzed or scattered. Choosing 3 gives your brain a clear hierarchy to work from. When you sit down to work on any given day, you always know what matters most. You are never starting from scratch trying to figure out what to do first. The decision is already made. Step 4 is scheduling your recovery first. Before you fill in your work schedule, before you block your study sessions, before anything else, you protect your sleep window, your movement, your meals, and at least 1 block of genuine rest. This sounds counterintuitive. Most people treat recovery as something they will get to if they have time left over, but for an ADHD brain especially, skipping recovery does not buy you more productive time. It just borrows from next week at a very high interest rate. Recovery is not a reward for finishing your work. It is the fuel that makes the work possible. Schedule it first. Step 5 is an honest capacity check and a weekly intention. You rate your energy coming into the week on a scale of 1 to 10. If you are coming in at a 4, your week needs to look different than if you were coming in at an 8. This one number tells you how much buffer you need to build in and what you can realistically let go of if things get hard. And then you set one intention. Not a goal, not a task, just one word or sentence for how you want to move through the week. This sounds soft, but it is actually one of the most regulating things you can do for an ADHD brain because it gives you something to come back to when the week starts pulling you in 17 directions. On top of the Sunday reset, I do a quick daily check-in every morning. This takes 5 minutes maximum, and it is 3 questions. What is the one thing that has to happen today? What is one thing I can let go of or push if today gets hard? And what do I need to protect my energy today? That is it. 3 questions, 5 minutes, and you've given your brain a starting point instead of leaving it to spin. The daily check-in is what keeps the Sunday reset alive throughout the week. Without it, the plan you made on Sunday starts to feel irrelevant by Tuesday. With it, you are course-correcting in small ways every single day instead of discovering on Friday that the whole week went sideways. Now I want to talk about something that derails even the best weekly plan, and that is the inability to say no. Healthcare culture has a complicated relationship with boundaries. There is an unspoken expectation that dedication means availability, that a good student says yes, stays late, takes on more. And for ADHD brains that already struggle with people-pleasing and rejection sensitivity, the pressure to overcommit is even stronger because saying no feels like letting people down, and that feeling is genuinely dysregulating for us. But here is what is true. Saying yes to everything is not dedication. It is a fast track to becoming a clinician who has nothing left to give. Before you commit to anything new, I want you to run it through 4 questions. Does this align with my 3 priorities this week? Do I have the genuine capacity for this, or am I saying yes from guilt or fear? If I say yes to this, what am I saying no to? And would I still want to do this if no one was watching or impressed? If the answer to any of those questions gives you pause, wait 24 hours before responding. Impulse commitments made from guilt or people-pleasing create chronic stress that compounds over weeks and months. You do not owe anyone an immediate yes, and you do not owe anyone an elaborate explanation for your no. Learning to protect your plan from the outside is just as important as building the plan in the first place. I want to address something because I know exactly what some of you are thinking right now. This sounds great, but I know myself and I am going to miss a Sunday and then the whole system falls apart. That all or nothing thinking is one of the most common ADHD traps there is, and it kills more good systems than anything else. Here's the truth. You will miss a Sunday, life will happen, a clinical day will run long, you will be exhausted, something will come up. That does not mean the system failed. That does not mean you failed. The goal is not a perfect week. The goal is a recoverable one. When things go sideways, you do not start over from scratch. You come back to your 3 priorities and ask which ones still matter, which ones can shift, and what the minimum viable version of your week looks like. A 10-minute reset on a Tuesday is better than no reset at all. A partial week of structure is better than a full week of chaos. The system is meant to serve you, not the other way around. The last piece of the weekly system that most people overlook is the end of week reflection, and I think it is actually one of the most powerful tools in the whole framework. Every week before you go into your Sunday reset, spend 5 to 10 minutes looking back at the week that just ended, not to judge it, not to beat yourself up about what did not get done, just to get data. Ask yourself 4 things. What went well this week that I want to repeat? What did not work that I want to adjust? What am I carrying into next week that I need to put down? And what is one thing I am proud of from this week, no matter how small? That last question matters more than it sounds. ADHD brains tend to hyper-focus on what went wrong and completely skip over what went right. The end of week reflection forces you to acknowledge your wins, even the small ones, before you move into planning the next week. And that acknowledgement is not just feel-good fluff, it actually regulates your nervous system going into the Sunday reset, so you are planning from a grounded place instead of a defeated one. The weekly system is not just about getting things done, it is about building a relationship with your own capacity. Learning what your brain needs, what drains it, what restores it, and how to design your weeks around that reality instead of constantly fighting against it. Over time, this system does something really powerful. It builds self-trust. You start to believe that you can follow through, that you can show up for yourself, that you are not just surviving from week to week, but actually building something intentional. And for an ADHD brain that has spent years feeling like it cannot be relied upon even by itself, that shift is everything. Every week is a new container. Some will be full and productive, some will be survival mode. Both are okay. The system holds either way. You just keep coming back to it. Everything I just walked you through is built into the Mind and Motion Clinical Focus Guide workbook as a set of repeating weekly pages. The Sunday Reset template, the daily check-in, the study session plan, the weekly nervous system check-in, and the end of week reflection. All of them designed to be printed in batches and used every single week throughout your entire training. The workbook also has a foundation section you fill out once at the beginning where you map your own ADHD patterns, your burnout fingerprint, and your personal non-negotiables. And it has rotation-specific pages you pull out at the start of every new clinical placement. It is designed to work both printed and filled digitally, so it fits however you like to work. The link is in the description. There is also a reading guide if you want the full explanation of every system behind the workbook, and a bundle that includes both together. Structure your mind, move with purpose. I will see you in the next one.